Is there anything better than seeing two teammates fight on a football pitch? The answer obviously is no. While no one but the goalie can touch the ball, there are moments when the players decide to use their hands on each other. We're talking about a good old-fashioned brawl. From Ruud Van Nistelrooy versus Arsenal to Jose Mourinho poking Tito's eye out, here are the most famous fights in football history. Ruud Van Nistelrooy and Arsenal. In the early 2000s, the matchup between Manchester United and Arsenal was one of the most fiercely contested in the league, with these games frequently determining who would win the championship at the end of the season. These two teams played each other during the 2003-04 season, and the game, now notoriously known as the Battle of Old Trafford, was marred by numerous on-field incidents, with United committing 13 fouls and Arsenal 18. There were a total of 8 yellow cards issued, including 2 to Patrick Vieira, who was later dismissed for kicking Van Nistelrooy in the 80th minute. At 0-0, Forlan won a penalty in the waning seconds, and Nistelrooy stepped up to take it. He thundered his attempt onto the crossbar, and as the final whistle blew, he was surrounded by jubilant Arsenal players. A full-on fight was nearly avoided, despite both sides boasting of having tough guys. Although Lauren, Martin, Keowan, Vieira, and Ray Parlour were all given post-game suspensions totaling 9 games, the draw allowed Arsenal to finish the season undefeated and win the Premier League. Alan Purdue and David Myler. While it is extremely unusual for teammates to fight one another, it is maybe more unlikely for a manager to fight a rival player. Aside from calling Manuel Pellegrini a flippin' old cork, the former manager of West Ham, Newcastle, and Crystal Palace has been in the middle of his fair share of controversies, including claims that he couldn't be racist because his wife was Spanish. However, Purdue outperformed himself in 2014, meeting between Newcastle and Hull City. The game was all but over when the Magpies led 3-1 in the 70th minute. However, David Myler and Hull City accidentally ran into Alan Purdue while retrieving the ball for a throw-in, and Purdue reacted aggressively by headbutting Myler. He received a 3-match ban, was fined $60,000 by the FA, and the $100K by Newcastle for the troubles. Francesco Totti and Mario Balotelli. Mario Balotelli is another person you would have expected to see on this list. It was surely going to take someone with Balotelli's reputation to lure Totti into a fight, given his status as one of football's most gentlemanly players. The Italian has amused and irritated a wide range of people over the years, including Jose Mourinho, Roberto Mancini, and pretty much everyone from Milan and Manchester. In the 2010 Coppa Italia final, Inter and Roma played each other and the match was generally tense. Balotelli said to Totti, "You're finished, granddad," when he came on at halftime and continued to make fun of him throughout the rest of the game. Totti's violent tackle on Balotelli in retaliation caused him to be sent out, and Inter went on to win the game 1-0. Totti was subsequently accused of racism by Balotelli. The Roma captain disputed the accusations. He also acknowledged that the media backlash following his on-field outburst had him seriously considering retirement. Roy Keane and Alan Shearer. The hothead Roy Keane must be included on any list of the biggest football fights. Keane and Alan Shearer got into a brawl in 2001 at St. James Park during an away game. When the game was down to the final few minutes, the ball was thrown out for a United throw. And while Shearer attempted to prevent Keane from getting it swiftly, the Irishman threw the ball at Shearer's head in response. The Newcastle man's vocal retort caused Keane to lose his cool, throw a punch that he ended up missing, and then get dismissed right away. Even now, the two guys continue to despise one another, with Keane saying afterward, "I was sent off for pushing, but if you're going to get sent off, you might as well punch him properly." David Batty and Graham Lesseau. Although the careers of these two players were less than stellar, they're included on this list because it was one of the extremely unusual situations when two players from the same squad ended up fighting. The English football landscape in 1995 was very different. The league champions Blackburn Rovers were up against Spartak Moscow in the Champions League. In the first 4 minutes of the match in Russia, Batty grabbed possession in the middle of the field. Lesseau attempted to take the ball away from him, but collided with his colleague and conceded a throw into Spartak. In response to Batty's furious approach to the defense to confront him, Lesseau punched him in the throat. What's crazier is that Lesseau broke his hand in the attack, with their skipper Tom Sherwood having to calm things down. Jose Mourinho versus Tito Villanova. Things are likely to become heated when two of the fiercest rivals face up. Mourinho doesn't exactly have a reputation for being the nicest guy on the block, but even his most ardent followers were stunned by his incident in 2011. In the 94th minute of the El Clasico, which was already getting very hot, Barcelona led 3-2. Marcelo then charged into a tackle on Cesc Fabregas, which led to a red card for the Brazilian left back, and then a full-blown brawl involving all the players on the field. Both sets of managers argued on the sidelines, but Mourinho was recorded gouging the eye of late Tito Villanova until TV replays revealed the altercation. Mourinho flatly refused to apologize to Villanova following the scandalous incident, saying he was defending the honor of Los Blancos. Villanova, who had shoved Mourinho back, was also suspended, and it took almost a year for the Portuguese manager to recognize his error and extend an apology. Lloris and Son. In July 2020, Tottenham defeated Everton 1-0. But the most interesting part of the game occurred at halftime. Hugo Lloris challenged Son Heung-min at halftime because the goalie was upset with his teammate for not tracking back, despite being in the lead. Teammates Giovanni Lo Celso and Harry Winks had to separate the couple, but they eventually hugged at full time. Manager Jose Mourinho praised his players rather than criticizing them for the event, calling it wonderful. Eden Hazard and the Swansea ball boy. Nearly every club in Premier League has a reputation for having extremely grumpy ball boys. When the opposition asks them to toss a ball, they frequently waste time, seem ignorant, and basically just get in the way. Eden Hazard, who is not known for having a temper, lost control of his emotions during a game at Swansea in 2013. The Welsh team had defeated Chelsea 2-0 in the first leg of the League Cup semi-final. But with 15 minutes remaining in the second leg at the Liberty Stadium, the score was still 0-0. As Hazard attempted to recover the ball from behind the goal, impeding a speedy restart, a ball boy threw himself on top of the ball. Hazard then attempted to kick the ball out from under the young boy as the latter made exaggerated rolling and rib-clinging motions. Hazard was sent off for his gesture, and the jacket the ball boy was wearing that night was eventually sold by the boy on eBay for an astounding $30,000. Not bad for a few kicks. Zinedine Zidane and Marco Materazzi. In the 2006 FIFA World Cup final, France's Zinedine Zidane lost his composure and headbutted Italy's Marco Materazzi. This incident is without a doubt the most antagonistic and brutal fight in football history. Materazzi allegedly mistreated Zidane by bringing up his sister. Zidane was consequently sent out right away for the headbutt, and Italy went on to win the World Cup on penalties. Teniente Farina versus Libertad. The match between Teniente Farina and Libertad rivals from Paraguay is unquestionably the greatest brawl in the history of any sport. The referee contributed to the crazy scenes that ensued in Cacupe. After the referee had sent off just two men, events unfolded that will certainly never be repeated again. The referee and the assistant referees were forced to escape after the subsequent foul play because the situation grew out of control. In the end, 36 players in total received their marching orders as the game came to a close. Which one of these fights was your favorite? Let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it and also subscribe to our channel for more amazing content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.